Hello, in this video I'm going to go over how to customize our layout, and I'll show you some of the brushes that I like to use most often. So one thing that you can do initially, it comes in with this red material. We can always change this to be something else. I prefer something that's a little more less colorful, so any of these kind of things might work, but I want it to be shiny enough where I am seeing the bumps of my object, but not so distracting like a reflection. That would be too much. But I'll do something like this, might be good. And then I'll make that as my my startup material, and say save as startup material. Startup material has been stored successfully, it says. Okay. Alright, so I have that. The next thing you need to do to change your layout is to go to config. You have to enable customize. And then what we want to add for our layout, I want to put about a bunch of brushes down here. So I'm going to go over and go to brushes and dock it. So you have to press this little circle with a line through it, press it, and that'll be there. Then you'll see that there's a bigger ball and a bunch of these smaller kind of options. What these are, this is kind of like your history and the actual button that we'll be dragging down. And this is like the library. We don't want to bring the library down here. We want the individual kind of brushes. So what you'll have to do is select the brushes you want. So I'll do a clay tubes. That's my usual standard one that I use a lot. And then I'll do Control Alt. Hold down Control Alt and drag it down. Oop. See, I did that wrong. I need to go down here. Control Alt. Do the smaller one. And then drag it there. Clay tubes. And another one I use is like a move topological is one that I use a lot. Control Alt and drag it down. And then I use a damn standard quite a bit. Move that down. And then I use an inflate. And I'll do a pinch. And then I'll do a H polish, which will is really good for making things look flat. So I use these quite often. I use the clay tubes, the move topological and damn standard the most, and then these some of the time. Okay, so I'm gonna undock this by clicking this and put this over here. And then another thing I would want to put in here on this bottom shelf is, actually let's make this polymesh 3D. I need to go over here to, I made it at polymesh 3D by the way because it wasn't showing all my options. It was a standards 3D, spheres 3D, and I need to make it a polymesh to get access to all these other things. So I'm going to go to Dynamesh and I'll put that in. Put that over here. And I'll put the resolution over there too. And I think that's probably good. I might put the blur, well, I'll leave that. And the modified topology, I'm always mirroring stuff, so I'm going to move that over. And I'm always flipping my mirror or my objects over to the opposite side other than this by going over here. That will flip it to the other side because I usually put it in the wrong side when I him sculpting things. Okay, so that's good. So now that I have a good kind of setup, I'm going to go over to Preferences, turn off Enable Customize, and I'm going to say Save UI. I'll save this. Just my initials, version 1. And that gives you access so you can load it in case you lose it. And then I'm going to say store config, and this will open up this layout every time you open up ZBrush. So I do that. There's also in preferences you can restore your the UIs, that kind of thing. All right. So now I can easily switch between things. I can mirror things easily. I can go to Dynamesh, and yeah, that's my usual setup. You can also remove stuff. So just to make sure that you know about that. Say you don't ever use any of this stuff over here. You can hold down Control Alt and drag it in, and it will remove it, and then you can reorder these if it's like too busy for you. And you can also, like if you made a mistake, you can drag Control Alt and drag these out into here and then get rid of it. But I do want that in there, so I'll put it back. So yeah, just make sure that you save your layout before you get out of ZBrush, and you say store config, and then it should be good. All right, I'll see you in the next video.